Welcome back to Fieldcraft Chronicles. Today we're exploring something that couldn't be packed in a rucksack or sharpened on a whetstone, yet it determined whether men lived or died in the trenches of the Great War. We're talking about the mind itself, that invisible arsenal shaped by propaganda posters, regimental songs, and the daily psychological warfare that turned ordinary farmers and factory workers into soldiers capable of enduring hell on earth. The survival techniques we discuss on this channel usually involve fire making and shelter building, but what happens when your greatest survival tool is your ability to believe in something larger than the mud sucking at your boots? Picture yourself standing in a recruitment office in 1914, walls plastered with images of heroic soldiers and menacing enemy caricatures. Before you ever touched a rifle, your mind was being equipped with something more durable than steel, a narrative framework that would sustain you when reality became unbearable. Propaganda didn't just convince men to enlist, it created a psychological infrastructure that allowed them to function when every instinct screamed to flee. Letters from home arrived pre-censored, newspapers spoke only of glorious advances, and commanding officers reinforced the message that your sacrifice served civilization itself. This wasn't mere manipulation, it was psychological armor welded onto the human spirit, transforming self-preservation into collective purpose. In the trenches, this mental conditioning proved as essential as any fieldcraft skill. When German artillery turned the night into shrieking chaos, and the ground itself seemed to betray you with collapsing dugouts, soldiers didn't survive on rations alone. They survived on the belief that their brothers in arms depended on them, that their nation's future hung in the balance, and that the alternative, surrender or desertion, was honestly just unthinkable. Officers understood this instinctively. They maintained elaborate rituals of morning inspection and tea breaks, not because these activities mattered tactically, but because routine provided psychological scaffolding when the world dissolved into madness. What's remarkable about trench warfare psychology is how soldiers adapted the propaganda they'd been fed into something more personal and immediate. The grand narratives about king and country gradually transformed into something rawer: loyalty to the man sharing your funk hole, pride in your battalion's reputation, and honestly, the simple human need to prove you wouldn't break when your comrades depended on you. This shift represents sophisticated survival psychology. Men learned to channel abstract ideology into concrete relationships, creating micro-communities bound by shared hardship and dark humor that would horrify civilians, but honestly kept sanity intact. The letters soldiers wrote home reveal this psychological fieldcraft in action. They self-censored not just to satisfy military requirements, but really to maintain morale on both fronts, protecting loved ones from unbearable truth, while protecting themselves from the weakness that doubt might introduce. This practice of curating reality, of constructing and maintaining a bearable narrative amid chaos, became a survival skill as vital as knowing which mushrooms were edible or, how to purify water. Standing here a century later, we recognize that survival remains deeply psychological. Modern preppers and bushcraft practitioners focus intensely on gear and technique, but the soldiers of 1914 teach us something profound. Your mind's resilience determines whether your skills matter at all. The propaganda and morale systems of the Great War, stripped of their specific historical context, reveal universal truths about human endurance. We survive not just through knowledge, but through meaning, not just through preparation, but through connection to something beyond ourselves. If this exploration of psychological Fieldcraft resonated with you, subscribe to Fieldcraft Chronicles and share this video with anyone who understands that true preparedness begins in the mind. Until next time, stay sharp and stay grounded.